everyone in this room is probably aware of the problems that exist and the discrepancies that exist when it comes to women in STEM education. To remind you all, women are 50% more likely to drop out of STEM majors, and 19% of physics, computer science, and engineering majors are women. But what's more troubling than those statistics are the fact that these numbers have hardly changed over the past 3 to 4 decades. And so our STEM for All team wanted to analyze why is that the case. And so we did so with 2 separate experiments. So one, a focus group study that kind of wanted to look at, well, why do we have these poor retention rates? And then 2, an iClicker study to look more into potential solutions, looking at active versus passive learning. So for our focus group, we took equal groups of students in Pratt and Trinity, male and female, and asked them their opinions about STEM education. We then took that text data and then analyzed it in 2 separate ways. So first, we looked at it through in vivo, which the previous group used as well. Basically, our in vivo group looking at that text data and manually going through it and giving statements either a positive, negative, or neutral attribution of confidence. And so here's just an example of a positive statement saying, it just pushes me to work harder, I guess that's a good thing. An example of a negative statement saying that these math courses are designed so that you fail. And then from that, we wanted to see if there are any differences between men and women in Trinity and Pratt. So as you can see, with Trinity, there's very little discrepancy between men and women when it comes to positive, negative, neutral statements. However, in Pratt, we see this big difference between women and men, where women were much more likely to have negative statements when talking about STEM education. So then we want to dive a little bit deeper into that and look at internal and external attributions of confidence. So we took all of the data sets in Pratt and Trinity, looking at specifically men and women, to see if there was any differences when it comes to internal or external attributions of confidence. Here's some examples of quotes that exhibit both types. And from that, we see, again, women have more negative statements, but what we found really interesting was that for internal statements of confidence, there was this very big difference, women having much more negative statements about internal attributions of confidence. So then we wanted to look at this data in another way and kind of take away the human aspect of it. And so we also analyzed our data using R, basically doing a sentiment analysis where the R program would give us a sentiment score. So basically what you're looking at is kind of just a brief little glimpse into that methodology where the R program would give us the sentiment score, either a positive number or a negative number, negative meaning negative, positive meaning a positive sentiment. And then we want to see if there's any discrepancies between men and women in Pratt and Trinity. So from that, we ran a t-test of all of the text data of all of the words said in this focus group. We found in Trinity that there was no significant difference in sentiment across genders, but in Pratt, there was a significant difference between men and women, with women having a statistically significant, more negative sentiment in the words that they were talking about when it comes to STEM education. And so this supported our in vivo analysis as well.
So this led us to our second question of what can we do and intervene in a classroom in order to increase these retention rates. So specifically, we're looking at active learning techniques in classrooms. And here, when we say the term self-efficacy, we're talking about students' internal attribution of confidence. So the psychologist Bandura theorized that there are 4 factors that affect self-efficacy. First is the mastery of subject. Second, vicarious experience, which is watching your peers succeed or fail. Third, verbal encouragement, which is the recognition you get from your professors and the peer on your successes. And finally, the anxiety you have towards learning. So in our iClicker study, we taught a lecture topic in a passive way and in an active way. In the active way, during the lecture, we had iClicker questions that the student answered in order to help them engage with the lecture material. So this is kind of just a quick glimpse into the results from that study, and we're looking at 2 main factors. We're looking here at mastery and anxiety, which we measured in terms of a pre and a post test, where we asked students how strongly they felt they had mastery of the subject, or if they had a decrease in anxiety. So in both of these graphs, an increase in the dark blue color is a positive thing, meaning there's an increase in mastery and there is a decrease in anxiety. So between passive and active, we didn't find any statistical difference in either group performing better. But the good thing to note from the study is that women generally started off with lower confidence compared to men. However, at the end of the study, both of these groups ended up at the same confidence level, which is a positive result. So we hope to be able to write up those results, publish it, and maybe even influence the way STEM education is taught at Duke. We're still currently in our data analysis stage, and this is the STEM for All team, and thank you.